What's up, everyone? It's the Autistic Scyther here, and this is part 2 of ranking every fire-type starter, or all fire-type starter Pokemon, from least favorite to most favorite. If you're wondering where part 1 is, part 1's up on my channel now, so I suggest you watch that video before coming to see the first 4 starters I ranked on this one, before coming back to this list to see the remaining, where I put the remaining 5 starter lines, the fire-type starter lines. Alright, that being said, time to burn the midnight oil, and let's get back into it. Moving on, next at number 5, we have the Fuecoco line. Alright. Yeah, Paldea is... Alright, moving on to Paldea. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. And that really does say a lot once you realize I do like the Sprigatito line for just being cat but grassier. But the Fuecoco line, honestly, I just love this little derper so much. I mean, it's just like this head empty little crocodile that basically just looks like it doesn't have a thought in its head. And it's just again, like I mentioned with Rowlet, it's just a little goober. I mean, it's funny, it's dopey, it's just oh so enjoyable. And while I was essentially part of Team Sprigatito, like a big fan of Sprigatito, granted, it was just watching a lot of Let's Plays of, well, initial streams of Scarlet and Violet, cursive like Josh Scorcher and Emperor Cubone. I ended up liking the Fuecoco line a little more. Especially considering how Crocolore looked hilarious with the head basically looking like a little sombrero, but turns out to be a nest with an egg on top of it. And it's just really funny. But then we get to Skeledirge. And honestly, this is why we need a grass crocodile so much, or a grass crocodilian starter so much. Because, yeah, these things really do say a lot. I mean, you guys, if I do a water type starter ranked from least favorite to most favorite, you'll see where I stand on Feraligatr. But Skeledirge is just honestly become one of my favorite fire ghost type starters. Just due to being what is essentially a Nile crocodile with a fire bird on it that basically amps up its fire type attacks. That does through singing. Honestly, that is just pretty cool. Plus, we go from the lumbering behemoth that is Feraligatr to a more lumbering croco titan like Skeledirge. It leads you to wonder what. Well, I did create Antaria, so yeah, we see where I stand on that one. Possibly I might try and make a video involving Antaria? Who knows? Plus, the Craft Singles fan strikes again. Because somehow they end up slapping one onto Fuecoco's belly. Okay, seriously. Someone get the cheese out of this guy's hand. Just please. Moving on next at number 4, we have the Charmander line. Yeah, I get it. Call me basic, call me a shill, call me whatever you want. Just call me for dinner. I'm kidding. I kid. But in all fairness, as much as a lot of as Game Freak seems to consider Charizard as their favorite child, considering all the attention Charizard has gotten in recent generations. I mean, 2 Megas in Generation 6, Pokeride in Gen 7, a Gigantamax form in Generation 8, a special Terraform in Gen 9. I mean, heck, even a bridge in Generation 5. Yeah, it's kind of understandable that all the Charizard love is kind of getting a little annoying. But even with that, you gotta admit, the Charmander line is still iconic for just being the way it is. And while I did start with the Bulbasaur line back when I started playing the franchise of Pokemon Red, part of me wanted to use Charmander. I mean, not just because I started with Red, but honestly, Charmander just kind of looked adorable. Plus, it's a lizard that basically evolves into a well, I'd say a single horn chameleon, and then it evolves into a full-fledged dragon. I mean, granted, I'm a guy. That stuff's gonna be awesome no matter what. But even with that, the anime still... Let's not forget the anime also has some I really liked seeing the Charmander line in the anime. Especially Ash's Charmander. And especially Ash's Charizard from when it was a Charmander. From its beginnings of being, abandoned by Damien before being taken in by Ash, to basically going through a rebellious phase as a Charmeleon and a Charizard, to basically being one of Ash's most notable fire-type powerhouses. And honestly, it really does say a lot. And even with that, Charizard always does run the gamut of different personality typings. I mean, heck, same thing could be said for Leon's Charizard in Sword and Shield, or even Freed's Charizard in the New Horizons anime. Granted, would I ever use Charmander, if it's in the Gen 10 games? Possibly. Would I want Charmander or Charizard to get something in the next generation? No. But honestly, that doesn't discount how much Charmander is an amazing Pokemon in my eyes. Yeah. Moving on next at number 3, we have the Cyndaquil line. Yeah. When it comes to fire-type starters, whatever Kanto did, Johto did better. And honestly, yeah, Cyndaquil is honestly one of the most is kind of a better fire-type starter than Charmander as a whole. As this little guy's just a hunched-over hedgehog porcupine mon. And it looks adorable, to say the least. And that's really saying a lot. But that being said, you also have the other evolve. But when it evolves into Quilava, yeah, that cuteness just morphs into sleekness before evolving into a full-on, epically angry and aggro honey badger in Typhlosion. Honestly, if there's ever a Pokemon that shows raw power, it's this thing. It is just this thing. And honestly, this is a Pokemon that can cause explosions on a whim. Yeah, you know it's badass. And even in Legends Arceus, or Legends Arceus, when we saw its Hisuian form just becoming Fire Ghost, I mean, looks kinda cool, even with its expression not showing the same attitude as the original Typhlosion. Granted, I'm discounting the Terra leaks because that's just the Terra leaks. But either way, Cyndaquil still stays with me rent-free in my mind. Moving on next, at number 2, we have the Chimchar line. Remember when I said that I like the Tepig line due to being based on Zubaji? Yeah. It's obvious the Pokemon based on Sun Wukong would be one of the top 2. And honestly, it really does say a lot, since Generation 4 is kind of an interesting starter, has kind of an interesting starter trail to say the least. But even with that, every time I go back to Sinnoh, I always have to choose the Chimchar line because of how amazing it is. And it says a lot once you consider how solid the Chimchar line is. Being said, what else would I have to say? Well, Renegade Platinum. Yeah, I've been trying to play through Drayano's Renegade Platinum ROM hack, and more often than not, almost every time, I want to choose Chimchar due to its Iron Fist ability. I mean, seriously, it just makes things easier. Plus, Infernape has a lot to it. Design, its concept, its anime appearances, yeah. All equals one clever and badass monkey. Monkey. Again, seriously. Finally, at number 1, we have the Fennekin line. Yeah, I have to say it. I like the Fennekin line the most. I mean, granted, Fennekin starts off as a Fennec Fox, which is kind of interesting to say the least, and not the only Fire Fox that we've had, because we've had the Vulpix line. But in all fairness, Braixen and Delphox really do steal the show, since they're basically just spellcasters. And if you already can guess, I like RPGs, and I like archers and spellcasters. So, yeah, it really does say a lot. Plus, honestly, with Pokemon Legends ZA, it got what it needed in a Mega that basically turns it into a full-on witch on a broom with miniature wands flying alongside it. And honestly, my my Delphox actually became a solid part of my vanilla playthrough of Legends EA. That's all I gotta say. It's just really simple as that. Those are all of the fire-type starters ranked from least favorite to favorite. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.